Hi everyone, we're going to look at this new process called elimination. And elimination is going to allow us to take two lines. So this first line here will be our first line in example 1, and this second line will be the second one. And we're going to find the POI. We're going to find where these lines would intersect when graphed. Okay, but we're going to use this new method called elimination. And what you can use to follow along is, there's a handout for today. Okay, so make sure you have a copy of that. Here's how elimination works. First off, you do have two equations. They represent lines when graphed. What you do with them is the following. You line up the lines, okay, so the 2x plus y equals 7 is like they're on top of each other. So the line below it, his x is below, the y is below, and the number is below the number, okay? So you've got the x is on top of each other, the y is on top of each other, and the numbers on top of each other. You need to have that look. Then you kind of look at the equations and you make a big decision. The decision you make is the following. So you can draw like a little box here, a little circle that's dashed. Now, elimination is going to mean to kind of like get rid of. And here's what I mean. You want to look at the x's. Okay, we've got 2x here and we've got, well, 1x here. And if these coefficients were the same, we would work with the x's. They're not the same. We have a 2 here and we have a 1 there. So we can't really work with the x's. So we're done looking at the x's. Let's move on to the y's. Let's look at the y's. Now the coefficient in front of this y, like it sort of means it's 1y, and this is 1y. They're the same. And because they're the same, that's good. We want to eliminate, okay? We want to eliminate these two y's. So to do that, we're going to subtract. I'll show you what I mean. Okay? We have 1y in this first equation, and we have 1y in the second equation. We're going to treat this like a big subtraction. Remember in earlier grades, beginning in like middle elementary, you learn how to subtract the line? It's coming back. So because we know if we can subtract these two y's, they would go away. This is how you set it up. Earlier I mentioned this box you put here. We've kind of made a decision. We're going to subtract. So we put a subtract symbol in there. And now you go forward with your subtraction. Okay? You just sort of do one at a time. What's 2x subtract 1x? You'd be left with x. What's 1y subtract 1y? Again, that's 1y subtract that 1y. You'd have 0. Nothing. It's been eliminated. Okay? Then you do the numbers on the end here. What's 7 subtract 5? Okay? That would be 2. Okay? And then you realize this is just x equal 2. And you have one value for your POI. To get the second value, you use the same steps we used in substitution. You actually use substitution within the technique of elimination. You're going to sub x equals 2 into, and it doesn't matter which equation you pick. It never did actually in the earlier lessons. As long as you put it in one of the two equations, you can find the missing y value. I'm going to go with equation 1. Okay? So I'm going to sub it in number 1. And anywhere I see a x, I write 2. So 2x plus y equals 7. So I see 2, then I see the x plus, well, 1y is just y, right? In number 1, 1y is just a y, equals 7. Okay? So 2 times 2 is 4 plus y equals 7. And then we remember that we can send this 4 over here. And it becomes y equals, the 7 stays there, subtract 4, just continue over here, y would equal 3. And you have both x and y, the values you need for your POI. Okay, so this, sorry about that. This POI can be written, it's 2, 3. Okay? You would get the exact same answer if you did this all by substitution, but today we're going to focus on elimination. Okay guys, let's continue on. We'll do this second example. And here we go. So again, we have two equations. Label them, always label them. That's 1, that's 2. We're going to use elimination. So the steps in elimination are the x's are all lined up, the y's are lined up, and the numbers are lined up. Okay, so we already have that. Sometimes you won't have that, but here with the given question we do. After you see that, look just at the x's. Are they the same number in front? They are. There's a 2 here. There's actually a negative 2, but we just want to really consider the numbers for now. There's a 2 there and a 2 there. So we know we're going to eliminate, okay? We're going to eliminate these 2's. Okay? The 3 and the 7, they're different, okay? And you would never eliminate the numbers. So now that we know we're going to eliminate the 2's, we go put that box here, and we have to decide what to do to eliminate it. Okay. So earlier in example 1, when we eliminated the y's by subtracting. So we put a subtract here. That's because there was one y, and we had to subtract the other y. In this question, if we were to do a subtract, watch what would happen. It says 2x subtract minus 2x. And I just show you, you don't have to write this, but 2x subtract minus 2x is really 2x plus 2x. And that would not eliminate the x's. You'd actually gain 4. Okay, so we don't want to put a subtract in here. It won't work. What you need to do is you need to add. Because watch this. If I have 2x plus minus 2x, and just think, that sort of means this. We have 2x plus, that plus that comes from here, minus 2x. The signs will work out, so it's 2x, the plus and the minus here, make a minus. Okay? So if they're opposite signs, you can add them, and they're going to eliminate, because 2x take away 2x is 0. Right? So you don't have to write this out, just to think about that as we get into this. Okay, so 2x with a minus 2x to eliminate, you have to add. Okay, and here's what you'll do. 2x plus minus 2x. You think to yourself, that's 2x, subtract 2x, 0. Okay? Be careful here, because now you got to do your y's. Okay? 3y plus minus 7y. So that, in your head, you should see 3y plus minus 7y. Which you should realize is 3y minus 7y, and you're going to get minus 4y. Okay, so this should go on in your head, or you use your calculator. 3 subtract 7. Okay, so 3y plus minus 7y is minus 4y. Carry the equal sign down. Okay, then it's 4 plus 16, 20. Okay, now you get to solve, just like in substitution. The 0 doesn't affect anything. So it says negative 4 times y equals 20. You have to divide that negative 4 out, and you have to do it on both sides with sign. So this cancels. You'd be left with y. 20 divided by 4 is 5, and then there's a negative on this number, so the result is negative. Okay, and there's your first value. And then to finish, you do sub y equals minus 5 in, and you can just go with number 1. Usually any equation works. I know I've been going with number 1 a lot. Usually the one that's like more appealing. See, in this equation it's all positive numbers, number 1. So I'm going to substitute in number 1 since it's more appealing, less chance of making sign errors. Okay, so there's number 1. Anywhere I see a y, I put minus 5. Okay, here we go. 2x plus 3. Now I see the y, so I'm going to write times minus 5 equals 4. And now I need to solve this. So I have to do the multiplication first. This is minus 15. Okay. And then I look at this, 2x, take away 15, and then there's a 4 here. I know I need to deal with this subtract 15. So if I bring it over to this side, I would be left with this. On this side, there'll be a 2x remaining. 4 still there, plus 15. Okay. Okay, so now we can add 4 and 15 up. That's 19. 2 times x is not what we're looking for. We can divide the 2 out. Okay, notice this is one of the first times we don't get a whole number. So 19 divided by 2, okay, is going to make for a decimal, and that's okay. It's okay. It's a nice decimal at least. So 19 divided by 2 would be 9.5. Okay, and you've finally able to write out the result, the POI of these two lines, x then y. So POI. POI is also called the solution. Okay, so just remember that, and it's minus 5, comma, 9.5. Nope, no it's not. I looked too quick. I have them in the wrong order. You're supposed to put x first, so it's 9.5. X goes first, and then minus 5. So just fix that, guys. Okay, example 3. So 5y equals minus 3x plus 14 is like equation 1. And then you have your second equation here below. 2x minus 5y equals 1. Okay, step 1. These don't look like they're organized correctly. And it says on your node, you need to rearrange first. Okay? The first thing you need to do is rearrange this, because I said you have to have everything lined up. Okay? So how could we do that? Let's take a look at number 2 here. It says x, then the y's equal 1. And that's what we want. That's what we had in the earlier examples. In the earlier examples here, the x's were lined up, the y's were lined up, the numbers were lined up. X's were lined up, the y's were lined up, the numbers were lined up. So number 2 seems to be okay. What could we do to number 1? Okay. Basically, I just see that 3x, the negative 3x, is in the wrong spot. So I'm going to rearrange, and I'm going to send him over to the left side. Okay? And it's going to give me a new number 1. Okay? I'm going to write it below here. So here we go. If I send minus 3x over, it becomes 3x, and it's positive. Okay, now I just write down the 5y. The 5y there, he needs a sign now that 3x is in front of it, so it's plus 5y. I've got my equal, and then that 14 that's here, I know it says plus 14, you can just write 14. Okay, and now that we've got it going, I'm just realizing it's not quite lined up, so I can adjust that. Make sure it's lined up. 3x plus 5y. Okay, now everybody is lined up. These x's are lined up, these y's are lined up, the equal signs are lined up, and the 1 and the 14 are lined up. Okay, so this becomes like equation 1, but he's been like rearranged. So it's a different version of equation 1. Okay, so now you're actually ready for elimination. So we draw our line, because it is usually just going to end up being some kind of addition or subtraction. And we put this dashed line I like to do, and then we go through our steps. Are the values in front of x the same? No, so we're not eliminating x's. Are the values in front of y the same? Yes, the 5s are the same. You're not worried about the signs, you just see that the 5s are the same. You're going to eliminate the y's, okay? So think about it. Minus 5y, if I go in minus another 5y, that won't get me where I want to get. I want to get to 0. If I think minus 5y minus this other 5y here, I am not going to get my desired value of 0. So it's not a minus that goes in there. Okay? Trick or a rule or a way of kind of remembering is if these signs are different, you need a positive here. Okay? If the signs are the same, you'll put a negative. Okay? Minus, plus, plus. That's going to work out. So minus 5y plus 5y, I will have 0. I'm down 5y's, I add 5y's, I have 0. Great, I've eliminated the y. Let's do the others now. 2x plus 3x, 5x. Okay, say plus 0. 1 plus 14, 15. All right, let's clean this up. This just says 5x equals 15. Divide by 5. X is 3. All right, we're getting better at this. We know in the second half of elimination, you always need to substitute. Okay, so now you take this answer, sub x equals 3, and I'm going to put it in number 2. And when I put it in number 2, I'm grabbing this equation here. Anywhere I see x, I replace it with 3. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so number 2 reads as 2, and then there's the x. So I put my substitution brackets, and I put the 3 in. Minus 5y equals 1. Okay, let's work this out. That's 6 minus 5y equals 1. Okay. Now, minus 5 times y is not what we want, and there's a 6 going on here. He's not on the side I usually want him to be. It always amounts to sending him over to the right. A number on the left side usually moves over to the right. Okay, so let's update. Minus 5y equals 1. The 1 stays there. The 6 that came over becomes subtract 6. And we can update. Minus 5y equals minus 5. 1 take away 6 is minus 5. Divide out that minus 5 on both sides. Okay, and then you end up seeing that this cancels. You can show those cancel lines. And y would equal 1. Minus 5 divided by minus 5 is 1. All right. We've got both x and y. Let's do this way. The solution, and then I'll put an underlined n. This means solution. Another way of saying POI is 3, 1. Okay, your turn to try the fourth example. It is one that you'll need to rearrange. Okay? And once you've done that, I want you to come show me your note and show me what answer you got for D, and we'll work out any issues you have. Best of luck. After this, there is a practice worksheet. Here it is. So several eliminations to try. Just do the circled ones. Do them on line paper. There is not enough room on this sheet. Okay. Try number 1, 3, 6, and 8. And then more challenging ones are numbers 9, 10, and 12. We're going to move into them next. You can see me or Megan, and we'll help you out. Okay. There's an additional step to do number 9, 10, and 12. That's it, guys. Talk soon.